What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. S. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the July 27, 2024 edition of the SmackDown LowDown. Scott Stanford and Megan Moran in the studio running down the biggest headlines from Friday's show before replaying the gauntlet match won by the Bloodline to earn themselves an opportunity at the WWE Tag Team titles next week on SmackDown against DIY. They preview DIY and the Bloodline for next week, that being Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. They also preview the Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa face-off that Cody Rhodes had challenged Solo to at the end of the show last night. They replay Bianca, Jade, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, that whole segment from SmackDown where Bianca and Jade got the better of the champions, setting up their match for next week. We hear from Dawn and Fire before that tag team title match next week. Alba Fire says that they don't have to do anything. They don't have to defend their championships. The titles give them power. And then Isla Dawn says that they've beaten them already and they will win again next week when they face off again. Blair Davenport comes running in. She goes, oh yeah, Naomi went running to Bianca and Jade about her issues with me. And when Blair had said a week or two ago that I have friends that I might turn to kind of deal with the issues that I have with Naomi right now, she might have been, I thought she was talking about Nia Jax and Tiffany. And that we would get Blair, Nia, and Tiffany against Bayley, Naomi, and Michin. But I guess not. I guess she was talking about the tag team champions. I don't know. But they walk off together, so we're probably going to get that 6-woman tag team match at some point. Maybe Davenport factors into the finish next week, helps Dawn and Fire retain. I don't know. I guess we'll find out next week. So they do preview Dawn and Fire defending the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Bianca and Jade on next week's show. Scott Stanford picks Bianca and Jade, as I would as well, because why would you bet against them? Dawn and Fire have been pretty weak champions. They have had no defenses. They haven't even wrestled on television at all. I think their first, aside from main event, their first match on Raw or SmackDown or a main show will be on NXT this coming Tuesday when they take on, I forget who. I think it was Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson on this Tuesday on NXT for the WWE Tag Team titles. Anyway, they replay LA Knight beating Santos Escobar. Scott Stanford says that Paul is smart. Logan Paul is smart for attacking Knight afterward. He also says that LA Knight might try to ruin Logan Paul's homecoming in Cleveland next week on SmackDown. They replay the Andrade and Carmelo Hayes segment where they challenged each other to another match after Andrade beat Hayes last week on SmackDown. We hear from Hayes here backstage with Byron Saxton, and Carmelo says that shouldn't bet against them. Anyone who's bet against them in the past, check their bank account, they're probably broke. And that was it. Scott Stanford hopes that it goes to a tiebreaker. He hopes that Hayes wins that match, so we get a rubber match. And I agree. 3 matches from those two, no complaints here. They replay Terrence Crawford knocking out Austin Theory with Grayson Waller also there. Megan Moran and Scott Stanford both say, Austin Theory, wake up. Like, Grayson Waller's using you. He's, doesn't give a shit about you. And I'm thinking the same thing. Like, it's been long enough. Let's get some resolution to this issue here. Let have him fucking make up and be a tag team or a breakup. It's been way too long of this nonsense. They replay the main event with Nia Jax and Tiffany beating Bayley and Michin in tag team action. Nia Jax pinning Bayley for the win. We hear from Nia Jax backstage with Byron Saxton, and Nia says that she sat on the champion. Didn't just beat the champion, she sat on the champion. Doesn't need any more confidence going into SummerSlam. She is extremely confident she is walking out the new WWE Women's Champion. She also says that Bayley hasn't had any memorable moments in her WWE career, which obviously isn't true, but I thought that was interesting that she would bring that up, because she asks Byron, name me a memorable Bayley moment, and Byron can't think of a single one. I mean, come on, dude. But they do preview Bayley and Nia for the WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam before running down the rest of the card for the show. 7 matches so far. They might add an 8th on Raw, we'll see, or even on SmackDown next week. I wouldn't think so. They'll probably stick to 7. Especially now that DIY and the Bloodline's happening on the pre-show, or not on the pre-show. I mean, SmackDown essentially is the fucking pre-show to SummerSlam that weekend. But we're getting that on SmackDown, as well as Jade and Bianca and against Fire and Dawn next week on SmackDown too. So they preview both of those matches for next week's SmackDown. Pretty decent show here. Nia Jax, we got to hear from her. We heard from Fire and Dawn, Carmelo Hayes. Fine edition of SmackDown LowDown, I thought. I'm hyping up next week's show and SummerSlam itself. So I said this in my SmackDown audio review yesterday. Don't know if I'll be doing a SmackDown audio review at all next week. I'll be in Cleveland for the show. I probably won't. Possible I could, will, don't know yet. There's a chance. I will watch and break down the SmackDown LowDown at some point. Might be that day. Might be Sunday, Monday even. I don't know yet. Depends when I have the time to watch it. Even if it's after the pay-per-view, probably will be. I'll still watch and review it at some point, because there is stuff, obviously, that happens on SmackDown that has nothing to do with SummerSlam itself, that being specifically the tag team title matches. So we'll watch it, review it here on the channel at some point next week. Keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys for checking out this review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, folks. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.